I'm so looking forward to this. So Brianna Brown is an actress who has appeared on shows like Devious Maids, Dynasty, and The Rookie, and she will soon appear on the newest season of the smash hit Netflix show Outer Banks.
When she's not on set, she is also staying busy. She just launched her Manifesting Your Mission podcast this month, and she's here to tell us all about what she's been up to. Hi, friends.
Hi.
Hello.
This is the best. It's so nice to see you. Okay, welcome home.
Thank you.
How are things? You've got your son, you have your husband here. Does it feel like you can exhale a little bit when you land at MSP?
Yes, and then we stay over by Lake Harriet and just kind of enjoy the water and relax. And I always go back to Apple Valley and drive around and see what changed. I'm like, oh my God, they've invested so much in the fields.
I know. Is the Bruegger's still there that we always would frequent? Everybody would go to that Bruegger's right before school.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah. Do you get a chance to actually truly relax, or is it just a lot of like running around and like lunch dates and dinners and meeting
it's
family
all
and
of the
friends?
things.
Yeah.
It's all the things, and then finding all of the kid activities. What are all the kid-friendly activities?
Right.
Whenever I see you or spend time with you, and we're going to talk about your new podcast, which you just launched, which I got to record an episode with you, I just think back to like, you know, when you and I were like singing in the choir together or walking the halls of Apple Valley High School, because I knew that this was what you wanted to do. You wanted to be an actor. You wanted to move to LA. I wanted to work in television. Like, if we could see then what we are now, like, what do you think that you would...
I wouldn't have believed it.
Right.
I would not have believed it because I never saw anyone who made a living as an artist. Because we got to remember that we started like before the internet,
Yeah,
Right.
YouTube,
Yeah.
like you know when dinosaurs basically walked the earth. But I didn't see that, so I didn't really think it was a reality. But I did seek out representation by cold calling Minneapolis agencies, and then through a series of events and persistence, got representation, started doing well, and went to Los Angeles and continued to do well because of grit and tenacity, and I wanted to prove my grandma wrong.
Well, there was no option to create your own platform like there is
No.
now.
No
You know what I mean? That
YouTube,
was the
all that
whole
stuff,
thing.
yeah.
Like I was just listening to another podcast talking about this, about how there were so many gatekeepers in media for so long. It was just so different than how it is. You really had to have somebody like my first news director, my first GM, who gave me a shot, who said, she's okay, I'm going to hire her.
Yes.
I mean, now it's like you can put your own stuff out there.
Now it's so wonderful because you can create so many things on your own, like creating a podcast. Like I can create that on my own. I can figure out how to produce it and edit it. I mean, it took some figuring out, especially with the technology of it all and marketing. But just it's great because I can then put out what I want to put out into the world, you know, and you can put out what you want to put out into the world. And I think it's important to have a place to, you know, share voices and information and inspiration and things that I think are worth sharing.
Yeah, I think the fun things about doing podcasts, whether you're hosting a podcast or being a guest on, I think you just learn so much about people and things that you just maybe didn't know before. Because as much as we have a lot of information out there about people, when they share and they really open up on a podcast, it just feels great, right? You're like, oh my gosh, you're like revealing something that's sort of private that I didn't know before.
You might overshare.
You might
You might.
overshare. and then hopefully it can be edited if you overshare, and it's a friend. But yeah, I think it's really wonderful because we can inspire one another. I think we're way more alike than different. I think that if we see something someone else, it can give us the ability to say, okay, maybe me too. I could do that too. If I can see it, I can be it. Or especially within Manifesting Your Mission, I share, you know, what obstacles led to opportunities. How can we reframe hardship? How can we be inspired by one another? And I think it's really fun. I was already curating that for the women in my nonprofit and for the different communities that I have. And so I thought, let me just take this to another level.
Remind everybody what the New Hollywood is all about.
Yes, thank you. So my nonprofit, The New Hollywood, was established in 2006, so a very long time ago, and it supports socially conscious storytellers and change makers with grants, goals, and mentorship. And right now we are the alumni program for Harvest Home that helps formerly homeless single moms with goals, grants, mentorship, and prizes. And so we're fundraising for that, and we're really helping just create more community, inspiration, education for the community that needs it.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. Okay, we have to ask about Outer Banks, and we only have like a minute.
I know. I got to ask you. Okay, so you're on this season 4.
Yes, throughout
right?
season 4.
Okay, what can you tell us about it? It's one of my family's favorite shows.
Yes. Well, I'm very popular now with all the young people in my family.
Ooh.
Like they're like, oh my God. And what's really exciting is I'm Hollis Robinson.
Oh. Who are you connected with?
Rafe. I really want to work with Rafe.
Oh, Rafe.
Rafe.
He's like kind of
I watch this show.
Rafe is a tricky devil.
Was it fun to shoot? Were you on location or
Yes.
where were you?
I was in South Carolina, so
Okay.
I was flying back and forth to South Carolina from December until end of May, and
gosh.
you know, getting to wear fabulous outfits because she's a main realtor in Outer Banks, and yes.
When does the new season come out?
Soon-ish, they just wrapped. And
Okay.
everything got delayed because of the strike.
Yeah.
Oh,
For
right.
those that don't
Yeah.
remember, where there was a long strike where everything was paused. So it started filming actually in June of last year. They had to pause in July, and then we started back up in December, and they just finished up. It's such a great show. It has so much adventure and action and a little romance.
Yeah, there's a little romance.
This is perfect.
like-
Now I can watch all of the seasons until then when she's on. Then I'll get to watch
Yeah,
hers. when it
I
comes
hate
out.
to admit it that as a 45-year-old guy, that I was inspired by John B's outfits of just like the button down, the short sleeve button down on vacation. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I got my John B on today.
Yeah,
you
you
know?
gotta unbutton it a little.
Yeah, I'm a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, Fran, you're
I
the
know, I'm
best. I
so
love
sad.
you.
I love you.
So much
Great to see you.
fun.
Good to see you guys.
All right, so we posted links to Brianna's podcast, website, and the nonprofit on TwinCitiesLive.com.
Hit subscribe.
Hit subscribe. We'll be right back.